and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome live here to Brandon's World. This is Monday, September 10th, 2018. Oh my goodness, guys, what a show we have for you today. We have my co-host from the No Holds Barred podcast, Andrew Baca, coming on at 11:35. We have talking about the Indians. We're talking about wrestling. We're talking about the NFL as a whole. But we need to start, ladies and gentlemen, with the Cleveland freaking Browns. Yes, the Cleveland Browns. Of course, we all know yesterday they played in a 21-21 tie with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, we know. But the real question is, guys, did we get better? That is the ultimate question. Did we get better? I'm going to let you guys know down below. You can tweet me. Every link is in the description, by the way. SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, everything is all down below. So again, you can tweet me. You can put it in the comment section. But welcome to episode number 3 of the Brandon's World podcast. Now, this is only the second episode on SoundCloud because on SoundCloud, episode number 2, the fantasy football one, I did not post on SoundCloud because it was specifically a YouTube show. So, second episode on SoundCloud, third episode here on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Brandon's World. What a game yesterday. What a game. Obviously, if you guys saw my YouTube over on my Ball Boy channel, my main account, you guys saw how fired up I was. You can go check that down. My main channel link is in the description below. You can go check out the video where I basically ranted about Hugh Jackson, as I always do every Sunday. Now, there is an internal debate going on within the Browns universe whether or not we got better. Now, did we? Because you can take a look at this from two perspectives. And as I was going over my notes this morning, trying to figure out what I was going to talk about, I thought to myself, I said, well, from the Pittsburgh perspective, Mike Tomlin is telling his team today, man, we should have won. But we also deserve to lose. We turned the ball over 6 times, but they gave us an opportunity, and we missed a field goal at the end of overtime, or we could have won the game. Right? I'm going to get into Pittsburgh in a second. But then you have Hugh Jackson's perspective, who could say, guys, we're now 1-31-1 over the first, 2 full seasons, and now the first game into the third season. Have we learned how to win yet? No. Did we get better? I mean, it depends on the way you look at it. Hugh Jackson could look at it as, guys, we could have lost. We were close. We were down 21-7. We came back and competed. We showed how much fight there was. That's the positive perspective. But I don't want to be a negative Nancy here, but I'm looking at it from the negative perspective of Pittsburgh had 6 turnovers. We only had 14 points off 6 turnovers. We turned the ball over 1 time, meaning we won the turnover differential by 5 times. You don't get it off Ben Roethlisberger like that. Normally Ben Roethlisberger is spot on against the Browns. Last year, it came down to an onside kick. The Steelers won the game 21-18. And with a much improved roster, now granted the weather was a factor, we all know that. But with a much improved roster and with some bad, uncharacteristic overthrows by Ben Roethlisberger that probably in a clear weather game would have been caught. And if it wasn't for that critical error by Pittsburgh where we didn't do anything to block their kick, they just flat out missed it off the high snap where they blocked our kick. And, I get it. Penalties, right? Penalties. I get it. Week 1, there's going to be a lot of penalties. You're going to have sloppy football, especially in the rain. But when you have pre-snap and post snap penalties, and the ones that killed the Browns the most. And the offensive line, that left tackle, Harrison, he made a few key blocks. They mentioned the one that should have been called back that wasn't on the Tyrod Taylor scramble, the one where he kind of chip blocked. I thought it was a good block, but apparently you're not allowed to do that. Um, mentioned the struggles of the offensive line. To me, the Browns look like the same old Browns. There is no way else of putting it. The Browns look like the same old Browns. And I posted on Facebook, I posted on Twitter, I posted everywhere. I said, I know where I stand on this issue of did we get better. But before I say my opinion on social media, I'm going to let the comments decide. So I'm waiting for comments. I'll probably get to those near the end of the show. We have a lot of Browns talk today, so this show is mostly dedicated to the Browns. Like I said, man, does it feel good. Man, does it feel good to come in here on a Monday morning right after class and talk about football. It feels so freaking good to talk about football. Um, and it almost feels good to talk about the Browns, the fact that it was a close game, because as I said, I expected it to be a close game. Um, good teams, in my opinion, and in most people's opinion, people that defend Hugh Jackson will say, no, this isn't the case. Good teams, in my opinion, they take advantage of turnovers. Now, I get it. The one turnover that Ben threw, the deep bomb to Brown that I believe was intercepted by Randall, I believe, maybe I'm wrong. It was down near, and I think they got the ball down near the 25, 35-yard line, somewhere in between there. You guys know the point I'm probably talking about. That turnover, I would consider a deep punt. You know, basically, and I don't count those as interceptions. You know, clearly the quarterback on third down and long, when you're in bad field position, you're going to throw it deep down the field to your best receiver, and it's either going to be caught, it's going to be incomplete, or it's going to be intercepted deep in your own end, and if you make the tackle, it's basically a punt. So you have a 67% chance that it works out, and you have a 33% chance that it doesn't work out. So obviously you're going to take the over. You're going to take the 67%. And I thought that's basically what it was a punt. So that I don't really count as a turnover. So you have 5 turnovers, 4 by Ben. You have 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, and then obviously the James Conner fumble, which was 5. And then, as I mentioned, that punt interception that makes turnover number 6. So even if you count 5 turnovers, the Browns should have at least got 15 points. They only got 14. That's the difference in the game. Every time you get a turnover, in my opinion, and again, I'm an offensive mind. I'm not a defensive mind. And I get the defense is trying to stop you. I get it. But as an offensive mind, off a turnover, if you are either tied or losing in the game, especially early on, again, in the fourth quarter, if you're winning, you're obviously going to run the ball. But you still have to be aggressive. And I thought the one thing that I really, was frustrated with Todd Haley yesterday was second half, they came out, they ran the ball. First drive, great. They got under center, pounded the football, moved the ball. That's the only time I saw that yesterday. Tyrod Taylor's rushing touchdown was all Tyrod Taylor. That's what he's best at from what I saw yesterday was running. I saw a guy that has a noodle for an arm. I think Cody Kessler personally has a stronger arm. In overtime, that first drive, they threw a pass to David Njoku. If Baker Mayfield was throwing that pass, that is a touchdown. It's game over. Browns win. Instead, it's Tyrod Taylor throwing the pass. Tyrod almost gets a pick 6. You're lucky it falls to the ground incomplete. I think if the Browns had Baker Mayfield in there yesterday, now I get it, right? The offensive line's terrible. I get it, rainy conditions. But Baker Mayfield would have won that game for the Browns Baker Mayfield would have saved Hugh Jackson's job? And this is a question that I don't think many people are asking today, but I'm going to ask it. Is tying for Hugh Jackson the same as a win? Meaning, if after the Jets game, if we lose that game, instead of being 0-3, you're 0-2-1, does that look better on Hugh Jackson's resume? Meaning, let's see, would that be 133-1? Does that look better than 1-34? To some eyes, it may. We don't know. And it may sound crazy, but in this Browns organization, nothing is crazy. And you have to take everything for granted. I think that is a question we need to ask. Now, again, going back to the play calling yesterday, I thought offensively, even in the rain, I thought they were extremely conservative. I thought Tyrod Taylor got lucky on the touchdown throw to Josh Gordon that Gordon was able to jump up and go get it. Obviously you have a 6'5" receiver, but I think a better throw makes that easier. And by the way, on the interception that Tyrod threw, with that ball's harder and a little bit more up, it's a touchdown, the Browns win. So again, Browns had opportunities to win the game. They shot themselves in the foot with their own turnovers, where the Steelers' turnovers that we forced them. We forced the 5 and 6 turnovers, other than the field goal that they missed in overtime. They missed it. Boswell, it was a high snap, couldn't get the footing down, shanked it wide left, I believe. That's nothing on the Browns. Nothing on the Browns. The Steelers had you beat. They had a great game plan on that drive. They knew Greg Williams was playing his safeties deep like he always does. They knew they had the crossing routes and the go routes and the slant routes, because that's what beats man coverage. They knew they had it. They got it in field goal range. They kicked the field goal and they flat out missed it. Meanwhile, the Browns up excuse me, of a Steeler turnover, take advantage. Obviously, Schroeder picks it up. You have a play where Myles Garrett gets called for a crackback block, which I thought was the right call. And then, penalty, moving back. And then St. Gonzalez kicks the field goal. Excuse me for 1 second. Then you have St. Gonzalez kicking the field goal. And it's not just missed, it's blocked. And by the way, Colquitt almost got blocked on the punt in overtime. He's lucky he got out of the way. So special teams, real problem for the Browns. Very disappointing. I wasn't that impressed. I thought it's the same old Browns, as I said. It's obviously frustrating, but that's how it goes. And if you're Hugh Jackson, you have a lot of work to do, and in my opinion, you need to win in order to keep your job. You need to beat the Jets. If you don't beat the Jets, you're fired. I would have fired Hugh yesterday because that was just incomparable. But here's the problem that we're going to get into later, because we're almost out of time with this segment. Now, because Todd Haley's running the offense and Greg Williams is running the defense, can we blame Hugh Jackson? And that's the real question on this Monday. Along with, does a tie save his job? So with that, we're going to go to the rest of the NFL, and we're going to pull up here the NFL scores. I'm going to go over the games, and I'm going to tell you what I saw from each game. And, we are going to get right into this. So basically, let's start it off. Obviously, we know the Thursday night Eagles beat the Falcons 18-12. Eagles looked really good. Obviously, J.J. ran in 2 touchdowns. The Eagles defense, which, by the way, I'm a big fan of the Philadelphia Eagles. They're my favorite team. So I know the team inside and out. Defense looks freaking phenomenal. Let me put it to you that way. And, 18-12 was the final. Defense looked phenomenal. I thought they forced Matt Ryan into a lot of pressures. And offense and Nick Foles did just enough to get the win. And the Eagles showed they're a really good, solid team because they can win in many different ways, unlike the Browns. The Cincinnati Bengals, in an upset, beat the Indianapolis Colts at 34-23. I thought it showed not only how weak the Colts defense was, but I thought it showed how resilient the Cincinnati Bengals were. I think I told people that they're not going to be in the doghouse this year. I thought they could win somewhere between 6 to 8 games. I don't think they're that bad of a team, and I think it showed yesterday. Putting up 34 points, 27 from the offense, which is still a lot. That's a number you want to get to. And then obviously the scoop and score at the end when Jack Doyle fumbled. But I thought Andrew Luck took a few hits. I thought he got back up. I thought he looked good. T.Y. Hilton got a touchdown in the game. He looked pretty good. I thought the Frank Wright offense looked pretty good against the Bengals defense. It isn't great. But again, the Colts are going to have problems this year because they have a bad defense, and the Bengals and Indy don't were able to torch them. Ravens and Bills. The Ravens end up winning 47-3 in a complete blowout in Baltimore. Josh Allen came in. Josh Allen and Nathan Peterman both looked bad. Not only was it a testament to how good Baltimore's defense is this year, which I have them in fantasy in one league, but it's also a testament to how bad the Bills' offense is with no receivers. Kelvin Benjamin, I think Cam Newton made him, and I don't think Cam Newton's the greatest quarterback in the world. I don't think Kelvin Benjamin's that good. I actually think Zay Jones is their best wide receiver. They clearly need wide receivers, and the fact they cut Corey Coleman shows you something. And in the downpour, the Bills were just not ready to play, and Baltimore was, and they spanked them. The Bills are going to be bad this year, and they have a lot of work to do. Next game, we got the Buccaneers taking on the Saints. And Ryan Fitzpatrick with a great game. Looks like Fitzmagic is back. Saints defense struggled. Bucs won the high scoring 148-40. Texans and Patriots. Tom Brady looked really good. Deshaun Watson looked really bad. Made a nice little comeback at the end, but Patriots won 27-20. We'll get into more of these games later. But I just wanted to go over the scores real quick. Vikings 49ers. Vikings win it 24-16. Jimmy Garoppolo, 3 interceptions, 1 touchdown in his debut as the week 1 starter for San Francisco. Kirk Cousins looking really well in his Minnesota Vikings debut through 2 nice touchdown passes to Stephon Diggs and Kyle Rudolph. Vikings took control early in this game. San Francisco tried to make a late comeback, but Harrison Smith closed the door late with a late interception. Dolphins Titans. This game lasted about 7 hours. Marcus Mariota ended up leaving in the third quarter. We know with the rain delays and stuff like that. Really boring game, to be honest. More high scoring than I thought. And I thought Ryan Tannehill looked better than I thought, and I was impressed a little bit by the Dolphins. They win at 27-20. Jaguars beat the Giants 20-16. Leonard Fournette left this game with an injury. That's a big injury. We'll see how long he's out for. Giants, Odell Beckham Jr. looks good in his return, but besides that, their offense looked abysmal. Saquon Barkley had 1 big run. Besides that, there was no lanes. Their offensive line still looks bad. Jacksonville controlled the line of scrimmage. They won the game 20-16. Then in the 4 o'clock window, Chiefs dominated the Chargers. Patrick Mahomes I was really impressed with. Chargers I was honestly not impressed with. I thought Andy Reid really did a great job game planning. Tyreek Hill scored 3 touchdowns in the game, including 2 receiving and a punt return. He was dominant if you had him in fantasy. Panthers defeated the Cowboys in an ugly defensive battle, 16-8. Dallas looked really bad. They got pushed around. Dak and Zeke really did. It shows that they don't have a number 1 receiver. And, the Cowboys defense looked good, but Cam Newton just did enough to overcome them. Redskins dominated the Cardinals 24-6. Cardinals do not look like a good team this year. Broncos and Seahawks in a better game than what I expected. Case Keenum looked good in his Broncos debut. Russell Wilson, the Seahawks offensive line, struggled. Broncos win at 27-24. And then Aaron Rodgers, of course, he went down last night in the Sunday night game. Came back, threw for almost 300 yards in the second half alone. Bears blew a 17-0 lead, and they ended up losing at 24-23. Matt Nagy learned a lot from Andy Reid, I see. So that was your NFL scores update. We'll go over more of the scores later. Obviously, we have 2 Monday night games tonight, but, um, yeah, we need to go over the Indians really quick. Um, the Indians played a 4-game series in Toronto this past weekend. And let's see here how they did. One second. I can get all the scores pulled up. So yesterday they lost 6-2. Let's take a look here. Here we go. Okay. So against the Blue Jays, Thursday night they won 9-4. Friday night they lost that extra inning game 3-2. Saturday they won it 9-8. And then they lost yesterday 6-2. And now they are going to Tampa for a 3-game series, and Wednesday is a day game. Note that time. Overall, I think the Indians are fine. You know, they split with Toronto. They won every other game. When they won, their offense looked good. When they didn't, their offense didn't look good. And their pitching got exposed a little bit in this series, I thought, which isn't the best sign. But we'll go over the MLB standings later. But they are now 15.5 up on Minnesota. So, you know, no concerns there. So again, you know, with the Indians, no concern. Josh Donaldson should be back next week. So keep an eye out with that for the Indians as we go into the home stretch here. And I just wanted to cover them basically because we need to. Again, we're getting close to September, so I was just curious to see really quick who was on the mound because I didn't watch a lot of the games. I watched the Friday and Saturday game. I did not watch a lot. I know Pleco pitched Saturday. Tomlin ended up getting the win. Clevenger struggled yesterday in the loss. So it went Shane Bieber pitched Thursday night. He looked okay, I thought. Carrasco looked really good Friday night, and then the bullpen was you know, Saturday, I know that, as I said, Pleco pitched. Tomlin ended up getting the win. And then Sunday, Clevenger pitched, did not look great. We do have Kluber on the mound. We have Kluber, Shane Bieber, then Carrasco. For this series, Tampa Bay will have Castillo. They'll have the Glass now, who's 1-5, and then they'll have that lefty on Wednesday, who was tough. So, you know, obviously Glasnow and Kluber had the last matchup, so they kind of switched it up a little bit. But yeah, we are getting down to the final stretch. The Indians have, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. They have 19 games left. Today's September 10th, and they end on the 30th. So they have, see, is that right? They have 2 more off days, I believe. Yeah, they have 2 more off days. Keep that in mind. They have an off day this coming up Thursday, and they have an off day this coming up Monday. So after the Tampa and Detroit series, they will have an off day, and that's it. We're getting down to the final stretch. I think Bauer and Miller should be back by the time the postseason hits, and we better hope because Houston now has 89 wins. We have 81. Again, we're 7 games back of them. We're probably not going to catch them. We'll be the 3 seed. We'll take them on in Houston in the playoffs, which I'm not concerned because to me, home field advantage in baseball isn't the biggest thing in the world. But yeah, obviously the Indians are not, you know, the sexy talk of the town right now because obviously it's the Browns. But we do need to cover them, and obviously these wins and losses don't matter. They just get us closer to clinching the division. But you know, we're covering the Indians a little bit here today to let you guys know how they did and stuff like that. this Tampa Bay series, Tampa Bay's not a bad team. So, let's hope that we can take the series. That's the ultimate goal. We split with Toronto, which, again, in a 4 game, you don't want to lose the series. You either want to split or win it, either go 2-2, 3-1, or 4-0. So the Indians won 2-2. Not bad. We do have one more 4-game series left. We're at Kansas City. The last Sunday game is at home. It's Sunday, September 23rd. It's 2 weeks from yesterday. It's at home against Boston. That's our last home series of the year. And coming up here is our last home stretch. So keep that in mind. It begins next Friday. It goes all the way to next Sunday. So a little bit over a week. Um, for the Indians, they finished their last home stretch of the year. We got the Tigers, the White Sox, and then Boston coming in for a big last 3 games of the season. The Indians have been very good at home this year, and again, in the postseason, it just matters who gets hot at the right time. And we can do that, and we're going to see who's been hot as we check in the MLB standings. But, it's going to depend on who gets out. It's going to depend on if we're healthy, and if that happens, we can be one of the best teams in baseball. So yeah, I think we're going to take a little bit of an early break here. We're going to come back. I'm going to have Andrew Baca on the show, and we'll be talking Browns. We talking everything football from yesterday. We might talk some Indians as well. So stay tuned. We're going to take a break, and I'll be right back. Hello. All right, guys, we are live back here on the Brandon's World podcast, and we do have Andrew back here. Andrew, if you can hear me, that would be great. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Okay. Now can you hear me?
Okay, hold on. I cannot hear you
Wait,
myself.
how about now?
1 second.
Shit. Okay, how about now?
Yep, we're
Okay,
good.
yeah. I forgot to turn my phantom power thing on.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so welcome live to the show. I don't know if you saw my opening monologue or not.
No, I didn't. I told you I had a package coming and had to take care of that. It's a big box.
Yeah.
So
So anyways, these are the two questions that I was asking today. The first one is number one, is a tie for Hugh Jackson the same thing as a win in terms of job security?
no,
So you don't think it is. So you think if they lose to the Jets game and they go to 0-2-1, is that the same as 1-34?
pretty much, yeah. I mean, we had numerous we had what I think I counted what was 6 times to win yesterday, and we couldn't fucking capitalize. Part of that has to do with coaching. I mean, almost all of it does. I mean, and I read something that okay, one, he found someone to throw under the bus, and it just so happens to be his best defensive rookie. He threw Denzel Ward under the bus. He blamed him for the loss, saying if he doesn't give up that touchdown, we win. Even though he got him 2 interceptions, which a shitty offense couldn't capitalize on. And I don't know, man. It's just oh yeah. So he blamed him. He found someone to throw under the bus, and you got to blame Tyrod Taylor too. I mean, he is awful. And people on Twitter were saying, "Oh, well, Baker Mayfield wouldn't have gotten you in that spot." Yeah, he would have. He probably would have won us the game. Fucking noodle arm. I mean, there were 3 touchdown passes from Tyrod Taylor that should have been touchdown passes, but they were severely underthrown or they were just lobbed in the air because he has no arm strength.
Yeah. And my second question was to kind of follow up on that. I was thinking about this too. It is Todd Haley's offense, and it is Greg Williams' defense. So, are we blaming the wrong person? And should we not be blaming you? I mean, it sounds crazy, but does he have anything to do with it?
I think he's still. I mean, he's still quote unquote the leader of this team, and it's gonna fall on the coach. I mean, not lining up properly, having illegal formations, constant holding calls, offside penalties. That all falls on coaching, and those are
Right.
that's shit that you should be practicing daily. And I think if people watch Hard Knocks, they would know, hey, these guys are not mentally
Right.
tough. And if you heard constant shots being taken by Todd Haley, where he was saying, God, this is what happened. This is what happens to teams that don't practice well after we lost the Bills game. And there was, the opening thing where, Hugh Jackson saying, we need to give rookies rest. And Todd Haley's just like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like,
Right.
I mean, this is a guy who went to the playoffs with Matt Castle, for fuck's sake. I mean, I think this guy knows what he's doing. I mean, he may be very unconventional, but I mean, he's got a far better track record than our current abysmal coach.
Oh, everybody does. As we know. But I'm sitting here thinking, to me, and I thought about this. You have last year, you lost the game 21-18 with Deshaun Kaiser. And this year with Tyrod Taylor, Carlos Hyde, Nick Chubb, Jarvis Landry, a little bit of Josh Gordon,
We talk
and
about that
whether,
too. How stupid is you not playing? You have a potential top 5 receiver and you don't play him. And when you do actually throw to him, he gives you a touchdown. Are you fucking kidding me?
well, the plan was because he's still injured from the hamstring, so he could only go limited snaps. So I'm not going to put that on you.
Oh, all
If
right.
you want to put it on somebody, put it on Todd Haley because Todd Haley's the one that tells people who to go in and stuff like that. That's not
Right.
you.
Right.
That's all on Haley.
All right, go on.
But
Sorry.
anyways, you have all the new pieces that I just mentioned, and you only scored 3 more points than you did last year. Now, granted, the weather last year, I believe, was sunny.
Yeah, it was.
If I
It was
remember correctly,
sunny and 80.
this year it was a downpour, but you force. And again, the one turnover, as I said earlier, I actually counted as 5 turnovers, not 6, because the one was basically a punt. I think you know the one I'm talking about. Where Ben threw it really deep on 3rd down, I believe, and I think it was Randall that picked it off.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he was doing there.
Well, and I'm going to explain it to you. In that situation, when you're really backed up, you have 3 options. You can either basically, this is why you throw the ball deep, because you have 3 options when you throw the ball deep to one guy like that. If you throw it really deep, it's either going to be picked off, and it's basically like a punt, which is what it was. 2, you're going to catch it. Or 3, it's going to be pass interference on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
So you're playing the percentages of 67% chance it's going to work out in your favor and 33% chance it's not. You know, the interception like a punt and the catch would work in your favor. The batted down ball or an incomplete pass would not work in your favor because you'd still be backed up. So you have a 67% chance it's going to work, 33% chance it doesn't. You take the over, you throw the ball deep, you get the interception, it works out in your favor. So I count that as 5 turnovers. But the point is, you have, especially the one late in the game where Ben gets knocked out by Garrett, Schobert picks it up, and then they call Garrett for a backside block, which I think was the right call because you're not allowed to do that now. You used to back in the day, but you're not allowed to do that. There's another killing penalty.
I know, dude.
And
Some of these penalties are, you know, they really need to revise this, or else you're going to have a fucking catch rule 2.0. Even though the catch rule, in my opinion, and yours as well, I know, was a fair rule. I thought it was very easy, and the people that were saying I don't know what a catch is are just stupid. But these like, you know, like the roughing the passer one. There were former players on Twitter saying, what is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to stop dead in his tracks when he's going at Roethlisberger? I mean, he threw the ball, and then in comes Myles Garrett. They're like, roughing the passer. I mean, you can't stop dead in your tracks like that. I mean, there has been countless players saying that, you know, and I don't know. I think just let the game be played, for fuck's sake. I mean, because that illegal block in the back or whatever on the last play, that really screwed us. Because you know what would have happened? Because Joe Schobert was out at what, the 4-yard line or something like that. You know what happens after that? We run it a couple times.
You bring the field goal unit on, or you run it, and it's probably going to get blocked if you bring the field goal unit on, just like it was earlier. But
you run it a couple times with Carlos Hyde or Nick Chubb. That's a touchdown. Browns win the game. So yet another one of these bullshit penalties that the owners are just stroking their dicks, for lack of a better term, and they're not going to want to admit that we screwed up. Let's go back to the old rule.
Well, let me just say this: they missed the call on the Browns, so that was kind of a make-up call. Because you remember the one where Tyrod's scrambling and Harrison comes back and just levels the guy on a backside block.
Mm-hmm.
That's a foul too. And the reason because of that is it's basically an illegal block in the back, but it's just you're putting your elbow contact to the head, and that's what the flag was contact to the head. And I get it because of all the concussions. The run in the pass penalty, you're right, it was a bad call. Um, but
And it led to a
I
touchdown too. When it
yes,
really should have led that play should have led to a field goal. I
yeah.
mean, talk about a difference maker there.
Yeah, but again, there's difference makers all over the place. What about the kick the Steelers had that was not blocked? It was just a high snap by their long snapper. Boswell missed it, keeps him in the game, keeps the Browns in the game. Then the Browns don't capitalize on it. They try to kick the field goal themselves for the win, and instead of it going through, it's not like it just missed; it was blocked. A missed assignment.
Hmm.
So it's all over the place mistakes, but that is no excuse for getting 5 or 6 turnovers, however the way you want to look at it. If you want to count the interception, that's 6 turnovers. There's no excuse. You're winning the turnover battle 6-1. How are you not blowing them out? I don't care if it's snowing,
That's coaching right
raining,
there. Like
son.
I
But
texted
is it
you.
on Hugh or is it
Yes,
on Haley?
it's on
Because
everybody. It's on this
Haley's
whole
the
staff.
one
A
running the
stupid special
offense.
teams coach who came up with a predictable heart. That's how the Steelers were able to block the kick. I don't know if you saw TJ Watt talk about it afterward, but he said, "Oh, they had their long snapper has a very predictable snap count." And there were Cardinals fans blowing up Browns fans' mentions because I guess the new special teams coach came from uh, Arizona, and he was saying, and they were saying things like, "I can't believe this guy got hired again. This guy should go to Canada." All this stuff, and Hugh just thought he was the perfect fit, and because that's just great.
Well, I think it was Friday when Hugh did his press conference. He said that he's the advisor now. He advises the offense, he advises the defense, and he advises the special teams. But again, I'm not defending Hugh because I think it was a terrible coaching job by Hugh Jackson.
Oh, I
But
really believe even though Matt Nagy shit the bed last night, and maybe he is the second coming of Andy Reid, which if that's the case, then I don't want him.
well,
But
they were way too conservative in the second half. I
yeah,
didn't get that.
yeah, that was Andy Reid. But if I firmly believe if we had a coach like Frank Reich or DiFilippo or anybody, we could have had Dirk Cutter, we would have won. I firmly believe that.
Well, Frank Wright's offense, just to say something about Frank Wright real quick. I mentioned this earlier, but Frank Wright's offense is really good. I watched a little bit of that Colts Bengals game. It just showed how weak the Colts secondary is. The Colts defense is so bad. That was not on Luck. It was not on Frank Wright. Their
Yeah,
defense is atrocious.
that's why I firmly believe that if we would have fired Hugh last year and we would have fired Frank Reich, I think we would be in a lot better. I can go as far as to tell you I think we would have blown out Pittsburgh.
Well, again, the Steelers are off to a slow start. You know that. And the Steelers tried to give the Browns the game, and I swear the Browns tried to give it right back to them.
I know.
Because I'm sitting there. I think we just punted the ball away to Pittsburgh. It was the drive that Boswell missed the field goal. They come out. They're only rushing 4. The safeties are back so far, and I'm just sitting there going, "What are you doing?" And I think Bruce Arians. I really liked his analysis. I thought he made a great debut as an announcer because
Did you
he
hear him
kept
swear?
saying,
Did you hear him swear? On
"Yeah."
the
You kept hearing him say, like, I remember him saying that, like, every time we were on offense, he kept saying, I don't like that play call there. I don't understand that.
For
And then
Pittsburgh,
on
you mean,
defense,
or for us?
no, for us on offense, when
Oh yeah.
he kept saying, I don't like that play call. I think they're too conservative. And we I don't know how many times I kept saying this because if the Browns would have won yesterday, it would have been our biggest nightmare. So
I
I'm
know.
glad we tied because it would have been our biggest nightmare.
I
Because
know.
people would have said, "Oh, look how well of a job Hugh has done." No, take away from the fact that they should have won this game easy-handedly.
I
The
hope we get blown
Steelers
out next week, and I
the
think we
Steelers
will.
were dominating you 21-7. I muted my TV because I was about to make my video. And the next play, James Conner fumbles and the old game turns. And then what do they do after that? Nothing. They got lucky on a jump ball by Tyrod Taylor to Josh Gordon, which he came up with, which was a terribly thrown ball, by the way. And Tyrod's lucky that Josh Gordon was so big he could just go up and get it against the smaller corner. The other thing I didn't understand is why are you playing Jarvis Landry at the X? Why is he not in the slot? Jarvis Landry is not that good of a down the field wide receiver.
And it showed. And dude, another thing that concerned me. Did you see him give up on several plays? Like he got tugged just a little bit, and he threw his hands in the air and gave up. It's like you can't do that shit on this team. They're not going to give you the call. Okay, this isn't Miami.
I mean, I'll be honest. I watched probably most of the last of the third quarter and the fourth quarter of the game. I didn't watch most of the first half. I was flipping around between games.
Mm-hmm.
I watched.
Which you have the luxury of doing.
I told you could have used your student discount and got it, but you said, no, I'm good. I'll watch the Browns.
I'm not paying $160 or however much Sunday ticket is.
Well,
I can stream them I can stream them through Reddit.
Right. Well, with my Kent State student discount, I only pay $25 a month, which is not bad at all.
Damn.
And so, anyways, I was watching one of the Texans Patriots game, and I was watching the Colts game, as I mentioned. Watched a little bit of the Niners Vikings game.
How did Jimmy G look? Mostly. I heard he looked bad.
I thought in spurts he looked okay. I thought it was more the Vikings defense than him because you could clearly tell he had no playmakers out there. At the end, he was trying to force the ball, and Harrison Smith made a nice play on the ball. But you could clearly tell that when he got comfortable because they made a comeback late. But I think it was more that Vikings defense than the Niners. I think if Jimmy G, plays a defense that isn't like top 5, and that's no excuse because they're still a good team. But when you have no weapons and you can play man-to-man coverage and the offensive line isn't that good, that's kind of what I expected. I didn't expect Jimmy G to look all that great.
Right.
Speaking of which, offensive line, can we talk about how bad the Browns was?
Oh, my God. I don't know where I would really like to talk. I would really love to just pick Joe Thomas's brain and tell him, hey, what the hell were you thinking when you said that Desmond Harrison is a perfect man to fill your shoes? Because that clearly isn't the case. Let's just tank and get
I thought he made a few good plays. I thought he made a couple good plays. I didn't think he was the worst left tackle of all time. I thought that overall he didn't do great. I'd probably give him a B- to a C+ grade, but I didn't think he, especially in the second half, I thought he did better than in the first half. But I think this is the only reason why Baker Mayfield isn't playing, unfortunately. But, as a coach, I mean, it's frustrating for me to watch because you and I both believe in winning in the trenches. And the Browns clearly don't believe in that. You had 3 options at left tackle. You had Sean Coleman. You had Austin Corbett. You had Greg Robinson. Those were your 3. And then you throw in Joe Bitonio. Now you bring in this undrafted rookie. That's 5 options at left tackle. And most of them are now off the team. Really?
Right.
I mean, we knew, Joe Thomas announced his retirement in March, but we kind of knew since the end of last year this was it.
We kind of knew he got hurt. Like when they
Yeah,
asked him, they're like, "You coming back?" He was kind of giving like, "Yeah, we'll see how I rehab it and everything." And it's
right.
like, yeah, he's gone.
Now I get it if you're a first round draft pick and you're a bust. I get that. At least you're showing me you're trying to replace the guy.
Right.
But if you're just throwing in these random guys, and I get it, you tried to do it in house with Sean Coleman. Clearly that didn't work. Then you tried to do it with Batonio, and that might have worked, but Corbett was so bad at left guard. So why do you move Batonio back to left guard and put this undrafted rookie in the left tackle? Why don't you? I think I would have started Corbett at left guard. No matter how bad he was at least better than an undrafted rookie at left tackle, and keep it only a left tackle for now, and you can kind of mismatch that in the offseason. But if this offensive line keeps playing the way it did, and by the way, Chris Hubbard isn't that good at right tackle either. I don't think he had a great showing either.
He holds his own.
He owns his own, but I think you could definitely upgrade the position.
If you want to compete in this league, you got to have a stellar offensive line. I'm a firm believer in having it. If you have, and I'm not talking like oh, you got 3 out of 5 guys. You need to have every player on your offensive line needs to be really good. Look at the Cowboys in 2016. That was proof of it right there. The Redskins in the 80s had the best offensive line. They got 2 Super Bowls out of it. If you want to compete in this league, you need an offensive line. And
you don't need 3 or 4 offensive linemen. You need all 5 offensive linemen to be good. And you also need, depending on what kind of defense you are, whether you're a 3-4 or a 4-3. If you're in a 3-4, you need 2 good defensive ends. If you're in a 4-3, you need at least 2 good ends and a good tackle. You need a great defensive line. You need a great offensive line. You need a receiver that can go up and get the football. You need a decent quarterback that doesn't have a noodle arm. And you need good coaching. That's the formula to win Super Bowls. And by my count, the Browns don't have a great offensive line. Their defensive line is really good. That's one check mark. Their coaching is terrible. They have a quarterback that has a noodle arm, but they have a quarterback sitting on the bench that is going to be really good. So maybe give that a check in a year. So you probably have 2 or 3 of those boxes checked. But until you have all those boxes checked, you are nowhere near close to even competing for a playoff spot, let alone a Super Bowl. And that big circle on that list is coach. And it just scares me, as I said, that Jimmy Haslam's going to look at this and go, oh, he tied. He did get better. That's the only thing that scares me.
Yeah, and when it comes to Tyrod Taylor, they were talking about how he's the player that Marty Schottenheimer always wanted when he was in Cleveland. If for people who, and they probably don't because this was 30 goddamn years ago, but Marty Schottenheimer, who was the coach of the Browns, was like the most conservative coach at the time. That's how he lost, and that's how he lost in '86 with the drive because he got too conservative.
Yep.
Well, Tyrod Taylor and Hugh Jackson's doing the same thing. He's doing fucking Marty Ball. Andy Reid does the same thing. Run, dump off pass. New set of downs. Run, dump off pass. Let's mix it up. Dump off pass, run. Until you get down the field. Well, we did that, but the only problem is that we have a shitty quarterback. We have a shitty offensive line. We have a shitty coach. We have 2 really good running backs that would be good for that system. But they can't get anywhere because our offensive line is terrible. We're not going to go anywhere with this off. We're going to be in the bottom 25 again. I don't think we're going to be last, but we're going to be in the bottom 25 again. And who's probably going to survive all this? Hugh, because he's going to find a way to blackmail the Haslam's. He probably has some dirt with the fucking Flying J scandal, and he's going to throw Todd Haley under the bus. Todd Haley's going to tell him, "Go fuck yourself. I'm taking go fuck yourself. I'm taking a couple of guys from the Browns with me. I'm going to go take the job in Tampa."
Okay. Before I let you go, I'm going to ask you one question. Do you believe if Baker Mayfield started and finished the game yesterday, the Browns are right now 1-0?
I don't know about started because one of those touchdowns was came from Tyrod Taylor's rushing ability. But I really think if you would have put him in the fourth quarter at the start of it, I say we come back and he finishes it with an extra touchdown.
Okay.
Because that final drive when that interception happened, if you would have let somebody with the arm strength of Baker Mayfield throw down that sideline to Josh Gordon, he's not underthrowing that ball by any means. He's placing that ball right in Josh Gordon's fucking hands, and he's going in for the touchdown. We're going to win the game.
Right. All right. Well, we got to go here. I appreciate you for joining me today. My co-host of the No Holds Barred podcast, Andrew Baca, will be back with the No Holds Barred podcast on Saturday, and he always brings great insight on the Browns. So I appreciate you for it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
No problem. So we're going to take a quick break here at the top of the hour. We will be back at 12:05 talking more about the Browns on this wonderful Monday, September 10th, 2018. We'll be back. La 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 la. Brandon's World. Do do do. La 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 la. Brandon's World. Do do do. Brandon has a F championship and a Super Bowl ring. Do 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 do. That's Brandon's World. Do 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 do. All right, guys. So welcome back here. Live to the second hour of the third ever show. This is Brandon's World 9th and 2018 here. We already had my co-host of the No One Sport podcast, Andrew Baca, on. We were talking about the Browns here, talking about the Tribe. We're going to do more here in the second hour. Andrew Baca has a podcast coming out soon, as you saw by his logo, the Andrew Baca podcast. All that information is down below. Also, I will probably more than likely be the first guest on that podcast, so when that goes live, you guys can check that out. But here we are live, second hour on the Brandon's World show, third show ever. Obviously, the first two shows mostly. In the second hour here, we're going to be talking, as I mentioned, Browns, Indians, and wrestling. Wednesday, we're going to have my new buddy. I just met him a couple weeks ago, so we're going to have him on. His name is Michael Reiner, and he's a big wrestling fan and a big football fan. He's also a Steelers fan, so we're going to get his perspective. I wanted to get him on today, but he couldn't make it today, so we're going to get him on Wednesday. So check out that show on Wednesday. It's going to be a big show. We are going to probably be stacked. Mondays are going to probably be the day where we go the longest. And as I mentioned, on Wednesdays, we're going to probably cut it short a little bit. And then I don't know if we're going to have a show on Friday. That's to be determined, because I think I might just say Fridays for Bucksville Radio. If I get the show live on Bucksville Radio, we will do simulcast on YouTube and BSR on Fridays. And the times are subject to change. So for right now, keep in mind, we're probably going to do a show Monday, today, and Wednesday. Probably no show on Friday unless something big happens. But you guys can always subscribe to my Ball Boy channel. That's where, my other videos are. This is just the channel just for the show. So keep that in mind as we head to the second hour here. And I thank Andrew for coming on because he has some great insight with the Browns. He follows the Browns more than I do, so I appreciate it. We've been talking about Hugh Jackson all day here on the air, and it's just so funny, man. It's just so funny the way the Browns are. And again, does this save Hugh's job? That's the real question. I thought the run defense looked really bad on Sunday. I will say that too. I thought James Conner had a great game. I don't know if he was motivated because of the way the Bell situation, but I thought that James Conner looked really good, and that concerns me, even though I did think the pass defense of the Browns looked really good, so that encourages me. As I mentioned, quarterback play, offensive line, run defense, absolutely terrible. I thought the game plan for the Jarvis Landry as many times as possible was suspect, especially because he's not an X receiver. He should be a wide receiver in the slot. Josh Gordon should be the X and Callaway should be the Z, but that's not the way it worked out. Now, obviously, I get Gordon struggled, and I know Rashard Higgins made a couple nice plays. I believe he scored the other touchdown. He made a nice play. He made a nice catch. Playing the Z when Gordon was out. So there's that, but this is what I always say. I know they always say as a coach, you got to get the ball to your best players. In basketball, I believe that. But in football, I necessarily don't believe that in offense. I believe I'm going to call a play. Obviously, it's going to be for my best players on the field for one of them to get open, but I'm going to make the right read. I'm going to look to the guy that's open. I'm not going to try to force feed Julio Jones the ball, for example, like Matt Ryan did. I'm going to call a play where I'm going to get the best guy open. So let's say, for example, I call, gun, bunch, X-slant, X-slant, Y post, Z curl, something like that. And let's say my best receiver is the X, but my worst receiver is the Z, and I'm down late in the game and I need a touchdown. Well, if the Z's open, I'm going to throw to him. Even if the X is open one-on-one, but I don't feel too confident about it, I'm going to go to the wide open guy Z and see if I can make a play. That's basically my mindset. Obviously on a deep ball, I'm going to attempt my best guy. I'm going to call plays to get my best guy open, but if there's a blitz coming off the right side and my best guy is on the left side, well, I want to throw into the blitz, so I'm going to throw to the right side. It's just, simple common knowledge that I think most quarterbacks should know that, I'm not going to try to force feed my guy the football unless he's getting open. There's going to be days where your best receiver catches 9-10 balls, but then in my offense, there's going to be days where he only catches 2 balls, or maybe he catches 2 balls in the first half and he catches 6 balls in the second half. I go based on matchup. I go who you're playing, and I go if you're open. I'm going to go based on the way the game is being called and my best play call. Now, if I'm down by 7 and I absolutely do need a Hail Mary and I need to force the football, then yeah, I will force the football to the guy that gives me the best chance, and that's probably my tallest / best receiver. As you guys know, I like tall receivers, and I think tall receivers in the slot can work too. If they're a big guy, you can put a little guy on the outside as well. A lot of different movement you can do. There's a lot of different characteristics on offense. But, I think Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley need to get together because I think they need to do a better job of game planning, around that. So now let's go ahead and dive in here to the MLB standings. And then after that, I'm going to talk about the NFL as a whole over the weekend. So let's dive in here really quick to the MLB standings. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on that, on the standings. And we're going to go over wild card standings and all of that today too. So here we go. We have in the AL East, we have the Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees obviously fighting for position. The Red Sox pretty much have the AL East wrapped up. And as soon as my computer loads here, I can give you the exact number. Okay, here we go. So Boston is, let's see, they are 98-46, and the Yankees are 89-54. So Boston's already leading by 8.5 games. They have a 99% chance to make the playoffs. New York is 89-54, as I mentioned. And again, the common thread here with good teams this year is they're good at home, they're bad on the road. Boston 6-4 in their last 10. Yankees are 5-5. Tampa Bay is 8-2. They've won 3 in a row, so look out for that for the Indians. They're 78-64. They're really good at home. They're 44-24, where they're 34-40 on the road. They only have a 0.1% chance of making the playoffs, so they're not making the playoffs. Let's see. The Indians and the Indians, basically, they're 81-62. In order for my prediction of 90-72 to be right, they would have to go 9-10. So it looks like they're going to eclipse 90 wins, which is good on the year. The Twins, they are 65-77. They only have a 0.1 chance of making the playoffs, and the rest of them are completely out of it. Officially, they have 0% chance, and they're all going to be under 500 by the time the year ends. So the Indians are in the easiest division in baseball. It's been on cruise control, but yeah. The Astros are 89-54, and Houston and Oakland's 87-57. I thought Oakland was falling off, but they've won 4 in a row now. And the Mariners and Angels have basically no shot to make the playoffs. They both have a 0.1% chance. So the AL's pretty much set. The Indians are going to be the worst team record-wise going into the playoffs, and they're going to be the 3 seed with the wild card match. They're going to be either Oakland or Houston taking on the Yankees. And it looks like that game will be pretty close to where it's going to be going into that. But now we go to the National League. You got the Braves at 79-64. They now have a 4.5 win on the Phillies who are 74-68. They only have a 16% chance to make the playoffs. They lost 2 in a row. The Braves have won 2 in a row. That's where we killed them. Nationals still have a 1% chance to make the playoffs, but as you guys know, 1% isn't very good. The Cubs have a 2-game lead on the Brewers in the NL Central. And the main thing here is the Indians would be the 2 seed in the American League and be fighting for the 1 seed, where they have no shot now in the American League. I should say in the National League. Cubs have lost 2 in a row. Milwaukee has won 3 in a row to make it a little bit closer. Milwaukee has a 95% chance to make the playoffs now. Cubs 99.8. St. Louis only 56.9. They're 4.5 out at 79-64. They're fighting for a spot in the wild card. Pirates are 71-71, but they're not going to make the playoffs, even though they've won 5 in a row. They really slid in August. And then in the West, you have the Rockies now winning the Dodgers by half a game. They are really fighting. They're at 78-64. The Dodgers are at 78-65. Then you get the Diamondbacks at 76-67. They have lost 2 in a row. And the Giants have lost 8 in a row. So they've completely fallen out of it without Andrew McCutcheon now. They're 68-76. They were 500 the last time we checked the standings. And, the Dodgers are the best odds in the NL West to win it at 83%, and the Rockies at 49%, and the Diamondbacks at only 13%. So, let's check out the overall league standings real quick to show you guys what it looks like. So, in the American League, Boston will have the 1 seed. They are still 8.5 up on Houston. Then the Yankees, they will lead the wild card spot right now by 3 games over Oakland, but them and Houston are tied. So if Oakland can win the division, Houston, New York would be a very good wild card. It'd be funny because it'd be the matchup of the ALCS in the wild card round, and pretty much everybody else is a no-go. In the National League, you have the Cubs with a 2-game lead over the Brewers and then a 4.5 lead over the Braves for the 1 seed. And then, the Dodgers are way down there. They're 5.5 back. Colorado is 5 back. So, all these guys are competing. And in the National League, only 2 teams are officially out. That is the Marlins and the Padres. And in the American League, there are a lot of teams that are out of it. You got, let's see who's out of it. Toronto, Texas, Detroit, Kansas City, and Baltimore. Baltimore is going to be the worst team in baseball. They're 41 and 102 already. That's a joke. We're in the National League. We used to have a team that's won 57 games, the last place team. And now we go to... let's go to the wild card standings. I'm not going to do the overall, I think, till we get to the last week of the season, because overall really just affects playoff positioning. Wild card in the American League, Yankees are 2.5 on the A's. So it looks like the Yankees may secure home field in the wild card game. Seattle's pretty much out of it. They're 7.5 back for the first spot. Or no, they're 7.5 back for the second spot. Wow. National League, you have the Brewers up 2.5 for the number 1 spot. Then you have the Dodgers and Cardinals fighting for that number 2 spot, along with the Diamondbacks. Phillies are 4.5 out. Doesn't look like they're going to make it, but it looks like it's down to the winner of the NL West. And then the Cardinals for the loser of the NL West, I should say, and the Cardinals for that second wild card spot. So, there's 3 good teams in the NL West. One of them's going to miss the playoffs. Same thing in the NL Central. So, that's unfortunate. But Justin Verlander will pitch against the Tigers in Detroit on Monday night. That's a big story. Obviously, returning to Detroit. So, good for him. Let's see. So that's pretty much it. We covered the MLB standings. Let's go over the NFL really quick. Aaron Rodgers' injury, obviously, last night was brutal, but he came back in and played really well. You got the Tennessee Titans dealing with a lot of injuries in Mariota and Delaney Walker, so that'll hurt. You just have a lot of those scenarios. We're going to talk about that more when we come back. I'm going to go ahead and take my last break here really quick. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about NFL, we're going to be talking about wrestling, and then I'm going to let you go. So, we'll see you guys on the other side of the break. All right, guys. So welcome back to Brandon's World here. I always tweet out the schedule, and I always put the schedule down in the description. But sometimes it doesn't say. I guess. There's the camera. Sometimes I guess it doesn't, stay strictly to schedule. Sometimes we'll adjust it while we're in the show. Depending on how it goes. So let's just go over the NFL. Something that I want to talk about tonight was the Monday night games. I do think the Jets upset the Lions. I do think the Raiders upset the Rams because I think John Gruden does great in his NFL debut. Khalil Mack did great in his Bears debut last night. We talked about Aaron Rodgers a little bit. This was the year of comeback from injuries in the NFL. Obviously, last year was the year of injuries. But this year, Aaron almost went down again, came back at a great game. But as I mentioned, Tennessee really struggled with their injuries. Blaine Gabbert had to come in. Who knows his, injury status. Also, Leonard Fournette went down for Jacksonville. That's big. Potentially, we'll see what the status is. But, I thought overall for week one, I thought it was a really interesting weekend. The Bengals had a good upset. Actually, I'm going to go over my picks and see what I got right and what I got wrong. Remember, guys, you can submit your picks to me, and if you get every single one of them right, which I'm sure nobody did yesterday, you will get a prize, and we're also going to do season-long standings as well. But, yeah, the Bucs were a huge surprise to me, and I think to everybody how good Ryan Fitzpatrick play. They play my Eagles next week, so that's looking scary. Deshaun Jackson got hurt in the game. He has a concussion, so who knows what's going on there. But Ryan Fitzpatrick looked really good. As a matter of fact, I think Winston would have worked. I know the Saints defense struggled about that, especially against Ryan Fitzpatrick. And it's unfortunate for the Saints because now they're 0-1 and they're taking on the Browns and they'll probably beat their ass. But here we go as we go into my picks. I picked the let's see. I picked the Eagles. Everybody got the Steelers and Browns wrong because it was a tie. I did pick the Titans over the Dolphins, and the Dolphins, as I said earlier, came out and played really well. The Ravens, they played really well against the Bills, as I mentioned before. New England beating Houston. Now, I thought Houston was going to win this game. I thought Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt were going to come out on fire. That was not the case. Belichick proves he's Belichick once again. Jaguars beating the Giants. I was surprised how close the Giants made this game, but I thought Jacksonville, played really well. Minnesota defeating San Francisco, I thought was a good game, as I mentioned. You have the Saints losing the Bucs and the Bengals beating the Colts, which again I thought was a huge surprise. I also thought it was a huge surprise that the Chargers, they got handed to them by Kansas City. Again, I thought Andy Reid game planned really well. Again, I thought Carolina dominated Dallas. I thought Dallas looked really bad. I thought Arizona looked really bad. I thought Washington played really well. Denver beating Seattle. I think Seattle was not going to be themselves. And, Green Bay, that comeback last night against Chicago was incredible. So, there you have it. As I went 8-6, so I have a chance to either go 8-8, 9-7, or 10-6. I need the Jets and the Raiders tonight. So, I do my picks for CBS, and as I'm Phil Simms went 9-5, Nate Burleson went 5-9, Boomer went 8-6 like me, and Bill Cowher went 11-3. Obviously, he got the Browns game wrong, he got the Saints game wrong, and he got the Eagles Falcons game wrong. He picked Atlanta, so wow, this man got a lot of check marks. Let's see here. So that's that, and then I think we will go over. I think we'll go over, and then that'll be it. As I mentioned, Michael Reiner will be here on Wednesday. Michael is a new friend of mine. He's a really great guy. He loves all types of wrestling, WWE, NXT, All In, all that stuff. We're going to be talking about. I'm going to be here at 11:35. So just a quick note on that. However, we do have WWE to talk about because we do have, along with Monday Night Football, we have Monday Night Raw to go to tonight. Triple H is returning. We have McFoley returning, which they could get into a conversation. We have Ronda Rousey teaming with Natalya against Alicia Fox and Mickey James, I believe, unless it's Alexa Bliss. Get me mistaken, in tag team action. But I thought Raw was really good last week. Obviously, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels stole my heart away. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And then The Shield and Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. I really like this feud going on. I really like Dolph and Drew with Strowman. I like Strowman as a heel. Didn't think I would, but I really do. And I think it's a great time to be alive right now if you're a fan of Monday Night Raw, because I think Monday Night Raw is better than SmackDown Live. I think Hell in a Cell is going to be a good pay-per-view. I think WWE is really on a roll right now. And, hey, we'll see what happens there tonight. So, I really think Raw is going to be good tonight. I think they're going to try to stack the deck against Monday Night Football. And that's normally what they don't try to do in the past. But I think they put a lot of stars on Monday night because they know the competition is there. And Monday Night Football games aren't as great as what they were in the past. I think people in that organization that like football know that as well. Normally a Packers Bears Sunday night matchup would probably be the Monday night matchup. And now it is probably be the Monday night matchup, and now it's the Sunday night matchup. Sunday night is the big game now, not Monday night. And I think WWE needs to take advantage of it because they have stars like Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre. Even you got the B team, and with the woman, you got Alexa Bliss, and you're bringing back old stars for this Australia pay-per-view that's going to be sick. John Cena is going to be back. I really love the storyline they did with Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens is hysterical. Trying to give him something busy till Sami Zayn returns. I think Raj is doing a great job at writing. I can get invested in the storyline. And, on SmackDown right now, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, not the greatest feud in the world, in my opinion. It's kind of buttered down a little bit. I thought it was going to be a lot better than what it is. I think the best thing going on SmackDown right now is the fact that R-Truth thinks everybody's Carmella, and the fact that Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella are back. And that's another thing. The Bella twins are back. That could hamper the women's division. So I think Raw has a lot of interesting pieces right now. As I mentioned, on SmackDown, you got Daniel Bryan and The Miz. That's like your best feud next to AJ Styles and, Samoa Joe. And after that, I don't really know what it is because you obviously have, a lot of pieces there. And, we'll see where it goes from there. You have guys like the Bludgeon Brothers and stuff like that, but is that really interesting? The Bludgeon Brothers are out. So you have the Usos and the New Day, who are always funny. But I think Raw is overall the better overall show. And we're going to get Michael Reiner's take on that on Wednesday. But I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. And until next time, guys, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, leave it right down below. Make sure you check out the SoundCloud link below. This will be linked down there. And I'm Brandon Lewis, hosting Brandon's World. And we are out of here. Peace.